Hey, I just really wanted to start this video off by saying welcome to Duck Breaks, and thank you so much for checking out this little project of mine. This is a channel I always wanted to make, but I didn't really know where to start, so I thought it over and I'm just gonna make things and conduct my stories in a way I believe fits my interests, and hopefully some of you guys like it. This is a video essay type channel, but don't be surprised if you just see some funny moments I have with my boys here and there. Those types of vids will be their own thing, but most of my videos are gonna fall under a couple different series that I have made. As I release the next 2 to 3 videos, you'll kinda see what I mean. As you see in the title of the vid, this series is just gonna be about me discussing some of the cool things that have been released in the past 3 to 4 years, currently, and even some of the stuff that will be coming out in the future. So thank you so much again for checking this out, and welcome to this series called Currents.
Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring.
Yeah, we talking about FromSoft's Elden Ring, more specifically the DLC that released a little more than 3 weeks ago, Shadow of the Erdtree. I just recently finished it a couple of days ago, and man, there were so many thoughts that I have rushing in my mind. I wanted to get this video out immediately. First, I just want to give a quick little overview of my experience with base game. I don't have a hot take or anything like that. Oh, I said I don't have a hot take. I truly loved it. I think it really is my favorite FromSoft game. Yes, even over Bloodborne. Yeah, you could let the booze out. Okay. But on a serious note, really, it may be one of my favorite games ever. The cool main catalog of bosses, the different weapon types, and just the pure satisfaction of the exploration. I got lost in that game so many times, and I never held it as a bad thing. It felt like the world was made to get lost in actually, and to discover some of those creepy dungeons, the unique NPCs, and eventually come face to face with hidden bosses you could not find on the main road.
What the hell is this?
I played on one save 3 times, and every time it felt like a joy to run it back against some of those bosses that gave me hours of trouble. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Melania. I swear, I think she took me like 2 weeks when I was playing on and off. But really, that's saying so much for me to replay this game multiple times, because it's not a short game by any means. My first playthrough was over 120 hours, and I never got burnt out once. Every time I started a new playthrough, I couldn't wait to try out a new build. But yeah, that's when I made a new character on a different save, and finally ventured off into the DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree greets you immediately with an incredibly large new world to explore with such a jaw-dropping new color palette. The locations were also beautiful, and I had a lot of enjoyment in exploring each new area. So what do I think of the DLC? Well, I think it is great. However, I don't think your mind is going to be blown up once you encounter some of these new bosses, and that's not a bad thing. The DLC truly feels like FromSoft just wanted to give the audience more of what we got in the base game. They have a great track record with DLCs, but I was truthfully nervous on this one. Even still, they definitely exceeded my expectations. I really want to address the crisis that was going on in the internet with the DLC, and that is the difficulty. I've seen so many YouTube videos and social media posts that made it seem like completing the DLC would be such a ridiculous feat, and truthfully that left me disappointed, because when I play Souls games I always look forward to the challenge, but I am far from someone who enjoys getting one tapped at every corner. I find the challenge of these games really fun because for the most part, they are fair, and some of these reports made it seem like it was unreasonably hard. But after I beat it a couple days ago, I will say my experience with the difficulty was quite pleasant, to be honest. It took me about 3 weeks, and of course it was difficult, but I really liked it and I thought it was manageable. Even when I was playing the game intermittently throughout the weeks, I was still able to make good progress, and I was still taking down bosses in a decent time frame. However, Radahn did take me far too long, and as for the final boss, I'll get into that in a bit. I don't have much to say in the lore because there are plenty of great videos that go into detail onto that, but I love the gameplay structure following Miquella's path as he sheds his flesh and some of his humanity. It made for a really cool path to the final boss. I got excited whenever I seen one of those golden beams that Miquella left behind because I knew I was getting closer to the finale. The bosses in this were really great. Each felt very distinct from one another, and I think I can even call a couple of them my favorites in the whole game. Leave your favorites in the comments. I would love to see which one you guys had a lot of fun fighting. Mesmer was hands down my favorite. He made for such a fun fight, memorizing his moves and finally overcoming him was just so fulfilling. It felt like such a fair fight, and I can definitely see why he was the poster child for this DLC. I used only 3 of the new weapons that came out and they were all just really cool. Mesmer's Spear of the Impaler, Falx, and the Great Sword of Damnation. The Spear of the Impaler was definitely my favorite of the ones I tried. The Asher War on that was just insane. And well, the Falx is what helped me eventually slay the final boss. Speaking of the final boss, spoiler warning right now, I will talk about them in further detail, so if you don't want to get spoiled, I understand you clicking off the video. Thank you so much for stopping by and I hope you can beat them soon. Alright, Radahn is back. Actually, that is not a good thing because that man in Miquella kept me chained to a screen for 2.5 days. So, yes, he is hard. So hard in fact, he had me looking up YouTube videos for good weapons and talismans to use against him. My pride was killing me after I watched myself switch my build for one boss. I watched as people got to him before me and I saw them all struggle for hours on end, and I was terrified that would be me soon. And it was. I think it might have been worse really. He was thrashing me. The first phase is manageable, but I see people all agree that the second phase is borderline merciless. Even some saying it's just plain unfair. I've played all the Souls games excluding Demon Souls, and this version of Radahn has been by far the toughest foe I came across. He really had me questioning whether or not I would ever beat him. But after probably 300 tries, I did beat him, and I think it is one of my biggest accomplishments ever when it comes to gaming. I truly have not been able to pick up a game since then because I'm really just soaking in this victory. I have never felt more fulfilled trumping a boss in a game ever, and I'm so happy I kept trying and learning to live through some of his insane moves because it was well worth the payoff. But after 4 playthroughs, I can say my time with Elden Ring is complete for now. I feel really good leaving it where I left it, and I was happy to give the DLC my final efforts. Like I said, this game is one of my favorites ever, and this DLC only propelled that notion for me. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Currents. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'll see you guys when I drop the next video. Again, this has been Duck Breaks. Thank you so much for watching.